Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to name alkanes. Cycloalkanes. So these are cycloalkanes, and each of the spots where there's a bend in the corners represents a carbon. So if we count the number of carbons here, we can have six. We see that we have 6 carbons. And when we have one thing attached, we want to identify what it is that attached. That's a bromine. So we call that bromo. All right. So the name of this would be bromo cyclohexane. There are no double bonds within these cyclical structures. So when one thing is attached, we can just start it. We don't need a number or anything like that. So on this one, we have a cycloalkane with 5 carbons. And here we have a ziggity-zag, which is 2 carbons, which means this is an ethyl group. So the name of this one, B, would be ethyl cyclohexane. Oh, I made a mistake. There are only 5, so it's cyclopentane. And here we have 3 carbons, so we're talking about a cyclopropane. So remember, hex means 6, pent is 5, and prop is 3. And here with that one zeg, that is a methyl group, so the name of this would be methyl cyclopropane. Okay, now when we have more than one group attached, and in these examples that you can see here, there are 2 groups attached on each of them, but the practice ones have even more. We have to number them this time, and we need to number them in such a way that we get the lowest numbers. So the best thing to do when you have 2 things attached is you look for the one that becomes first in the alphabet, and you will have that be your number 1. So I have a bromo here and an iodo here, and B comes before I, so I'm going to have this be my number 1. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 carbons. And if this is my number 1, I can start counting in this direction, or I can start counting in this direction. And in this one, it won't really matter because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is always going to be the number 5. It does not matter which direction we count from. So here I'll number them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the name of this is 1-bromo 5-iodo cyclooctane. And on E, we have a methyl group and an iodo group. So again, we have 2 things attached. We want to start counting with the lowest in the alphabet. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a 1 iodo, 3 methyl, cyclobutane, and just for the record, if you ever have 2 things coming out of one thing, it doesn't really matter what the alphabet is, you would want to have that be your number 1, because it will give you a 1, 1, and we want the lowest numbers. So I'll just get that out of the way. Here we have a methyl group attached there and an ethyl group, and ethyl comes before methyl, so I'm going to have this be my number 1. Now I can start counting in this direction or that direction, and we want our numbers to be lowest. So since this one is going to give us the lower number, we want to start counting in this direction. So I was looking at the methyl group. You couldn't tell where I was pointing. So I counted this is a 7-sided cyclostructure. And we have 1 ethyl, 4 methyl, cyclo, hept. Hept is the prefix for 7, ane. So here is my short tutorial on how to name cycloalkanes, and I hope that you were able to learn something, and you can go ahead and give it some practice now.